ETH, we start with 1 hour chart. First of all, if we refer to our analysis in my last video, since the price was within this move, we mentioned about the different possibility and how we can look for trade. And as we can see, the price is dropping right now. And if we put this low and relative to the previous one, we see we have a divergence. Okay, but it doesn't mean the price is going to reverse. Even we can expect this one turn to internal flat, the price break the previous low, then from there we see how we can look for trade. But before we talk about the trade, we move to higher time frame. Okay, we want to see how we can look for the chart. All right, the first thing is we should know that we are within this correction. The price have to break this zone before we get the next trade. And the best thing is if the price can drop and at least retest the previous low somewhere around 2K. Because from there we can get the confirmation for long term. We need to see the breakout, and the best thing is technically, since we have a first move, we could get the correction, we get one more drop. Then from there, any reversal we can look for long-term trade for buying. But any trade, as long as the price haven't break this correction, we consider it as a short term. Okay, and beside that, how deep it can go even in our since last 1 or 2 weeks, we mentioned we can expect the price drop even to 1.45, okay, for long term. Okay, but right now we want to see how we can look at the internal correction, because we mentioned we can expect this one turn to flat for the reversal. The price is reversed, but as a short term. Okay, now we move to forward chart because we explain about the different possibility. All right, first things notice as long as the price is within this correction, the way they are moving is really corrective, and we can consider any trade as a short-term trade. Okay, we are not going to keep it for the long term. Then we try to read the chart, and every time it can change the direction. All right, we cannot move with the I mean, since we're using the Elliot wave, it doesn't give, like, it doesn't give tell us the price can move in the one direction all the way. Okay, that means every time we see the changes, we should know about the different possibility. When we know about the different possibility, then from there we know how to read the chart. If there is a changes, how we look for the next trade. Because if we refer to our analysis, at the first stage we mentioned, since the price was within this move, we mentioned we're looking at this three waves structure. We have been looking for the reversal. Okay, and there was an opportunity to look for buy from here, and we get the trade. Then I mentioned if the price cannot break the previous top, which is this one, I mentioned we can expect the price, this one we get the flat. That means the last wave can turn to a deeper move. Okay, because we mentioned we can, these lines are indicative, we can adjust it, right? Since we're using the Elliott wave, that's why we mentioned we can expect this one turn to a flat as a first correction and one more drop. Okay, the reason is if we put our fib here, we can expect this correction turn. If we put over 61%, we mentioned we can expect the price to retest the previous low. That means technically we can see this one, it drop and even retest around 2.2 if the exact value is around somewhere around 2180. Okay, that's why we had the opportunity, I mean the possibility, we look at this one as a flat. All right, now we want to see how we can look at the chart. The first thing is we extend this one, and this line we can change it later. That means we want to see how deep this one can go. We mentioned we can expect this one to retest the previous low if we know about the different types of the flats. Okay, whatever the lines we have here is indicative. All right, and internally we're looking at the first wave, second, and this is the last one. If I'm looking for the last one, this is what I have, the internal correction. May I change the move? Sorry, may I change the lines to the different color? All right, because we mentioned about we can expect this one turn to a flat and the price drop. Okay, and how deep it can go, easily can retest the previous low, which is somewhere around 2180. Okay, and still we can consider this one as the last wave in relative to these three waves. And beside that, we can change this one similar to what I draw here. This is what we can look for. All right, that's mean if we want to look for buy as a long term, the best option is if the price at least break the previous low, which is this one. At least we conform with this three waves structure, then from there we can look for buy. All right, that's mean based on lower time frame, buying right now is a short term trade. The best things is at least the price break the previous low or even retest the lowest price of this move as a three waves structure. Okay, that's why when the price was within this move, I mentioned if the price cannot break this top, we can look for the flat. And as we can see, the price drop. All right, this is how we can look for the chart, because as long as the price is in the correction, we should know about the different possibility. If the price is not moving in our direction, at least we take out the trade, similar to what we get here. We have been looking for buy since from this correction. This is what we get. We mentioned if the price cannot break, we can expect the price to drop, and this is what we get. Maybe we didn't get the sell setup for the the short term. We didn't short it, all right? But we are more interested to look for buy. But where to look for buy? Technically, if we want to look at this one as a flat, the best thing is if the price at least break the 2260. Okay, then from there we can refer to the indicators. Buying without breakout of the previous low, it doesn't mean we cannot look for the reversal, but this is the best things we can look for. That's why based on lower time frame, we try to get the any trade for buy. If we get, we take it, but we should have the proper management if he sees not moving in our direction. All right, then I just put back the line here. We should know that this line we can adjust it any times, because it depends how deep it can go. If we put our fee based on 61%, we can expect even the price break the previous low. Okay, now this is how we can look at the chart. And right now I'm looking at that's when the best things for me to look for the buy as a long term. I prefer this one, at least drop and came within this zone. If I remove everything, somewhere between this zone, that means somewhere between 2260 and 2180. It doesn't mean the price drop after the breakout of this low within this zone. I can look for buy. I'm expecting the price drop to this zone. Then from there, we see whether we can look for the reversal or not. Why? Because we have the another option to look for if we refer into the Elliot wave. We can look for the different option as a three-wave internal structure in relative to the first and the last for one move up. Okay, this is the in the bigger picture we can look for it. We don't need to go into the details why we can look for this option, because this is the reasons we need to know about the different option. Right now, if we move to what we have been looking for, the only thing is how deep it can go. At least we need to see the breakout of 2260, which is the previous low. Then from there we see how deep it can go, whether we can get the reversal or not. Okay, and it doesn't mean the price cannot reverse from here. The best thing is we see the breakout of the bigger picture for the long-term reversal, because after the price drop and break the previous low, we can confirm whether this is the one is going to retest the lowest price of this correction or not. We need to see the confirmation. Okay, anyway, we just let it go, and we don't have any trade setup for the reversal based on forward chart. And if I move to 1 hour chart, the only thing is right now we're looking at this as a flat at the first correction, one more drop, because from there we can look for divergence. Okay, if we get one more drop, then if we get any reversal from there, we can look for buy. But any trade for buy is a short-term trade. Okay, I don't think if the price reverse from here, we cannot get the long-term trade, because if I move to forward chart, what I can expect, if the price reverse from here, we do the breaking the previous low, we can expect that to give us one move up, and this part turn to the more complex correction. All right. Anyway, based on forward chart, if I want to look for buy, I prefer to see the breakout of the previous low. Then from there, we want to see how deep the price can go. And still, we can expect the price to read, as I mentioned, to break to 180. Okay. And if we move to forward chart, it's a 1 hour chart, for the short term, we can look at this flat. Let the price break this low, which is 2.3K. Then from there, we can refer to the indicators. If we get any reversal for buy, we can consider as a short-term buy. It's not a long-term buy. Okay. Anyway, right now we don't have any trade set up, and I don't suggest to look for any trade right now because the way the market is moving is like demanipulated, is very corrective. Okay, and we need to see the to get the confirmation for the next move before we take the trade if we want to look for the buy. That's why I mentioned any trade is a short-term trade. All right. Anyway, right now the only things is we want to see whether the price can break the previous low and we can see the divergence or not. If we see the divergence after the price breakout of this low, which is 2.3, the next level we can look for is the previous, which is 2250. Okay, because from there we can consider whether we can look for the reversal or not. Okay, then how about if the price reverse from here? How we can look for trade? We cannot get really good trades set up because we can expect even the price tend to move a bit higher, we get the expanding flat and the price to drop. That's why any trade without breaking the lowest price based on the higher time frame, it cannot give us a confirmation for the long term. All is a short term trade. Okay. Anyway, we just follow the chart. As I mentioned, the best things what I'm looking for, if I want to look for the buy, I prefer the price drop and at least retest 2.180. Okay, and right now I'm looking at this flat. If we're looking at this flat, we need to see at least the breakout of the previous low, which is this one. In this case, we just follow the chart. If I see any trade or that can give me confirmation for the next move, I will share. For the long term trade, we are not talking about the short term trade. Thanks.